But even utopias have a dark side, and Phineas Blackstone, the powerful wizard the vampires had paid to create their dark city, had engineered a brilliant one. A death trap finally sprung 2 years ago. The moment the magic began to fail, all vampires within the city's boundaries had become instantly caught, unable to escape. Soon, the sunbeams from the real world had begun to break through. Slowly at first, then more and more frequently, until it became clear that their world was dying, and with it, every soul trapped within, vampire, werewolf, and immortal human alike. Only by renewing Vamp City's magic would they be saved, and the only one who could renew it was another sorcerer, a strong one. Both of Phineas Blackstone's immortal sons had tried and failed. 2 years later, a month ago, as the situation neared critical, Quinn stumbled into that world, and they believed she was the one they'd been waiting for. The sound of a car horn blared on the street outside her apartment, making Quinn's hand jerk as she aimed at Zach's computer monitor and pretended to fire. She'd always known she was different, but never in a million years had she dreamed she was an honest-to-goodness sorceress. It still didn't seem real. Yes, weird things happened around her sometimes, but she didn't have any real power. A little, maybe. Power she couldn't call when she needed it, and that she couldn't control when it did decide to appear, which was worse than not having any at all. Kristoff had forced her to try to renew the magic, and she'd failed. But later, Arturo had seen her eyes glow, the sign of serious power, he said. He told her she had the power to save them, yet he'd helped her escape his master, Kristoff, and set her free, claiming that Phineas Blackstone's immortal sons would ultimately find a way to renew the magic. None of that made a lot of sense, and if there was one thing she knew, it was that Arturo played fast and loose with the truth. He was a first-class manipulator, but he'd also become her protector, and, in a strange sort of way, her friend, and her lover. He'd developed feelings for her, she was sure of it, as she had for him, as much as she hated to admit it. Despite his faults, and they were legion, she'd seen goodness inside that male. In the end, he'd saved Zach from certain death, then stolen her from his master's dungeon and set them both free. An unlikely, heroic, altruistic sacrifice for a vampire who'd betrayed her twice. From the moment he set her free, part of her had been waiting for the other shoe to drop, hence the gun, the wooden stakes she'd taken to carving, and the switchblade she'd taken to carrying. She and Zach were free and safe, and she intended to keep them that way. They weren't going back there. If Vamp City imploded, taking its sadistic vampires with it, all the better. But even as she thought that, she knew she didn't really want Arturo dead. Shoving her gun into her waistband, Quinn crossed to the window and pushed open the lower half of the double hung, enjoying the brush of cool September air over her skin. Across the narrow street stood one of the GW dorms, half the windows lit like the spots on a domino, the other half dark, the students still out and about campus, despite the fact that the sun had set more than an hour ago. Zach and his best friend Lily, both GW seniors, should have been out there with them, though more than likely they'd have been right here, side by side in front of their computers, either playing some high-action fantasy shoot-'em-up or designing one. But Lily had disappeared, as so many people around D.C. had in recent months. Quinn suspected she'd fallen through the same door into Vamp City that she and Zach had as they'd searched for her, but they'd never found her. Lily was most likely dead. Humans didn't last long among the vampires. And Zach. Poor Zach was suffering not only from the magic sickness, but from grief and depression as well. Her sweet, easygoing brother had not emerged from hell unscathed. Quinn straightened, hoping her neighbor Mike would come over as he did most evenings and give her something.